Hi there everyone. So I thought this week I would share something with you which I have heard for the first time this week, and it's a story. So are you sitting comfortably? Well then I'll begin. Once upon a time there lived a mighty king with a large and powerful kingdom, and he wanted to share it with someone. He wanted to share it with people who could help him to rule it well and to manage all that it required as a kingdom. So he gathered all of the children from the kingdom to his castle. The king gave each of the children a seed and told them that this seed was going to help him to choose who was worthy enough to help share in the ruling of his kingdom and all of its riches. So he asked the children to take the seed home with them and plant it in a pot, to look after it and water it for 1 year, and then bring it back to his castle so that he could see what they had managed to grow. Each of the children took their seed home and planted it in a pot, excited by what might grow from this new seed. They planted it and they watered it, and they looked after it carefully for the year. There was one particular boy who planted his seed excitedly in his pot. With the help of his mum, he watered it and looked after it for the year. But every month he went to look at his seed, no matter how hard he hoped and prayed, no matter how much he watered and talked to his plant, the seed did not seem to grow. The seed remained under the soil with no shoot to speak of. Concerned about what this might mean for him, he was anxious about returning to the castle, and his friends made fun of him. For whilst his seed did not grow, others were growing well. All sorts of different plants and flowers were growing from the seeds that the children had planted. So when the time came to return to the king, the children came proudly with their various plants and flowers. Proud of what they'd grown, they came excitedly, thinking that they would be the one the king would choose. All except the little boy with the seed that had not grown. He came sadly with his pot containing his seed, but not believing that his efforts had been rewarded or would win the favour of the king. However, what the children of the kingdom did not know was that the king had boiled the seeds before he gave them to them and made sure that they were out of date and unable to grow. So when the children returned proudly with their prize, with all their plants and flowers that they had grown, he knew that they were not being honest with him. All except the little boy whose seed had not grown. This person, this little boy, because of his honesty and faithfulness, was the boy that the king chose. He had been trustworthy with what the king had given him, though it was small, and so the king gave him much, much more, and raised the amount of responsibility he had in the kingdom, that he might rule alongside him forevermore. I'm sure that a number of you will have heard that story before, but it was new to me. And it got me thinking about our theme this week of discipleship. I could have applied it in various different ways, I'm sure. But the area that really stood out to me was the importance of honesty. Honesty with our King. knowing that God knows us better than we even know ourselves, that God knows it all. There is no value in us lying to him or making out that we are something that we are not. And some verses came to mind in Matthew 5, starting at verse 33. And in this version that I'm reading to you, it says it like this: "Don't say anything that you don't mean. You only make things worse for yourself. Trying to speak as a Christian might, saying things you think that you should, like 'I'll pray for you,' and never doing it. Or saying 'God be with you,' and not meaning it. You don't make your words true by embellishing them with religious lace, in making your speech sound more religious. It becomes less true. Just let your yes mean yes, and your no mean no." When, as Christians, we think about how we follow Jesus, we need to remember the importance of honesty, of doing our best even if we don't understand the results, of being real with God and with each other. For he already knows the truth, knows if we are being honest, knows if we are behaving as authentic Christians, Christians who mean what they say. Let your yes be yes and your no be no this week. Be honest and honour God, doing what he asks of you. Amen.